Well, a number of Aussie couples have found themselves in a nightmare situation following the sudden closure of a major surrogate clinic in Greece. The Mediterranean Fertility Institute in Crete has had its entire medical team arrested and imprisoned on charges of child trafficking and the illegal adoption of babies.
It's just shocking, isn't it? 150 Australian families have now been affected by the raid, and heartbreakingly, 8 families denied access to their newborn children. Our next guests have been in close communication with these families. First, let's go to fertility specialist Dr. Nick Lalatkas, joining us from Melbourne. Doctor, good morning to you. I can't even begin to imagine how traumatising this is, especially for those 8 families who are waiting to be with their babies. How are they doing?
Well, I have been in contact with one patient of mine, and she's not coping. She has seen the baby but cannot hug it, have any skin-to-skin contact. I think she gets to see it for 5 minutes, and they're waiting on paternity tests to make sure that her husband is the father of the child. So it is very, very stressful and very alarming that this is happening. And despite my sending letters to support her in her request to be able to hold the baby, I don't think they have taken any notice of it.
This is torture for them, right?
It is torture.
How are they going to navigate through that over the next couple of days?
Well, they'll eventually get the baby, and that's all legal, and they'll fly home. But there are other women that are waiting for their surrogates who have been basically imprisoned to deliver, and then they won't have access to the baby again until paternity tests are performed. So this is very stressful. It's expensive. They have to increase their stay in Crete. And I have other patients who have changed plans and are now going to Athens for treatment rather than going to Crete because of this problem. I have other patients who have embryos, eggs, sperm frozen in Crete, which they cannot use. And that's another devastating problem. Apart from how much it has cost these Australian couples to set all this up, it's just unbelievable that this has happened.
It just defies belief, that the level of cruelty involved in this and the ramifications, how far and wide they spread. Let's bring in Sam Everingham now from Mexico City. Sam, you've also been in contact with some of these Australian families, but this also affects Australians who've already brought their babies back to Australia, who may now have issues in terms of, confirming the DNA of their children.
Quite possibly that's the case. We hope that that isn't so, but it is possible that there is some mismatches that have gone on here. So, look, from these people, whoever's DNA it was, in their eyes, it's their child. They brought this kid up from birth, and that's the main thing. There are a number of couples and singles who engage in Greek surrogacy without any DNA connection to their child because they require donor eggs and donor sperm. So that's not a barrier to being a parent in that country under normal conditions.
It's still it's a bloody shock, though.
Oh, it is. It's been a nightmare. We've been madly scrambling to translate documents into Georgian so the surrogates can read them, to make sure the parents aren't suicidal. It's really tough.
It's heartbreaking all around. I mean, Dr. Nick, what is it like for you personally? You recommended this place as well.
True, yeah. I had no inkling that things weren't going properly in that clinic, and I've helped lots of couples have babies, and I've been doing this for quite a time, and this came as a complete shock. Surrogacy in Australia is very difficult. There are very few countries in the world that provide surrogates. It's too expensive to go to America. And this was the one place where I had comfort in sending patients until this scandal. It is cruel.
I don't think anyone could have predicted that this was happening, such a heinous abuse of people, taking advantage of people at their most desperate point in life as well. Sam, the Australian ambassador is involved here. Is the Australian government doing enough, in your opinion, to support these families?
Look, they are. Look, I'm in touch with Home Affairs and DFAT on a regular basis about the cases under concern, and they're doing all they can. This is an issue where we've got to get the Greek government on our side. It's become a really sensitive issue for the Greek government. They want to be seen to be doing the right thing. So diplomatically, it's tricky. Parents just have to really be really patient here. But as Dr. Nick says, this is on an idyllic island where we were taken in. Many of us were taken in. The irony is here, even the head of the Greek IVF Regulatory Authority has been dismissed because he was apparently in collusion with the clinic as well.
Oh,
the allegations are just shocking, aren't they?
Thank you for being with us today. None of this is easy. The pain is tremendous, directly and indirectly, and Australia feels it for all these families involved. And let's let DFAT go to work on this. Thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
Think of the poor surrogates involved as well. In so many ways, this is just an awful, awful situation.
It's already desperation for them to go overseas to do it.
Exactly. And imagine the amount of time and emotion that's led to even that point.
Terrible.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my goodness, Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?